As I record this video, the Steelers have just finished a dominant preseason at 3-0, having outscored the Bucks, the Bills, and now the Falcons on Thursday night, combined, I think 78-32. I guess the main story, for this, probably the main story is the starting offense. Kenny Pickett and company, I think, are now 5 for 5 in terms of drives played on, drives on the field, 5, and then touchdowns also 5, I believe. They also appear to have drafted another potential gem at outside linebacker. Of course, T.J. Watt was a first-round pick. People knew he was going to be a very good player. Did we know that he was going to be a Hall of Fame talent? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there were people out there who said he would be, but he's otherworldly. Alex Highsmith still on the team as a third-round pick, just re-signed. And in this case, the Steelers got Nick Herbig. I know at some point I'm going to call him Nate. He's from Wisconsin. He was taken in the 4th round. The draft was already pretty good for the Steelers, I think, in 2023. Offensive tackle Broderick Jones, Joey Porter Jr., super physical and talented, highly touted corner from Penn State, and then, the monster tight end Darnell Washington. Then the Steelers go and get Herbig with the 132nd pick in round 4. I believe he was the 30th pick in round 4, so that near the end of the round. And all he's done in 3 preseason games is have 7 solo tackles. Some other combined ones, I think. 3.5 sacks. He had 1 more sack last night against the Falcons, and then a forced fumble. To me, just from watching the little bit that I did watch last night, it seems like he's elevated himself onto the field earlier each and every week. I believe in the first preseason game against the Bucks, he didn't get on outside linebacker until the first possession of the third quarter. In my notes that I'm going to show you here today, I have him on in week 2 against the Bills on the 2nd possession. And then last night against the Falcons, I believe it was the 3rd possession, so, 1 possession later. But I could be wrong there. Feel free to let me know in the comments section if he was on earlier and I missed him. All 22 doesn't come out till Friday night for Thursday night's games. All right, let's get to the film, show you some film from week 1 and 2. We're gonna go through chronologically, so the Bucks game first. This is the 3rd quarter. It's a 1st and 10. This is after a Steelers field goal. 1st and 10, and you're going to get a run concept. And him and Leal, the D-tackle, first of all, sometimes you'll get a call where an edge player, outside linebacker, if he gets someone stepping to him like a base block, for whatever reason, if he's got the nickel outside of him, is allowed to undercut it. So jump back inside when he gets a base block. It's a read. I don't think this is a read. I think this is just a called stunt inside, because you can see him. He's almost giving like a head and shoulder fake to the tackle and then jumping back inside. Leal is also winning. I'll give you the end zone angle so you can see it. Ends up being a 2-yard gain to create a 2nd and 8. Same play. End zone angle. Herbig and Leal. Because you don't want him stunting into a B gap that Leal ends up in, which almost happens here, because the center is chipping Leal to move up to, I think, Nick Kwiatkowski, if I can't say his name right. Leal wins on the inside. Herbig wins on the inside. They both get involved. These guys actually had 2 consecutive plays on this 3rd quarter possession, because this is the ensuing play, 2nd and 8. Herbig giving some kind of signal, and then him and Leal are both going to split the sack here. Steelers in their base defense. It's a play-action concept. Herbig gets there first, Leal second, so the opposite of the previous play. I think he gets a split sack. Otherwise, he would have had 4, and he almost forces a fumble here with his right hand. Looks like he's, got a hold of the ball, or tips the ball, and the quarterback maintains possession of it. Very next play. Actually, this is the all 22 of that play. My apologies. You can see he's raising his hands up, and the Steelers OLBs have done this before. I've seen them do this in previous seasons. I'm not sure if he's signaling to the other OLB, hey, this is pass, or maybe they've got some kind of left and right call in terms of some type of stunt or coverage. And he's letting the other OLB know, what to do, because you see both of them rushing. So he may very well have just been signaling across, hey, I see something in the backfield or the offensive lineman tight ends set or alignment that indicates to me that it's a pass play. That's a 3rd and 14. He's not able to get home, but you can see he's trying to get upfield on the speed rush, and I'm going to show this. I'm showing this intentionally because I think he wins on inside moves often so far. I've only seen probably 26, 28 plays that I recorded. It seems to me he wins on inside moves. Am I saying he doesn't have a good outside move? No. To me, it looks like he's using the outside move to set up the inside move. And you'll see an example that tackle's getting out there pretty quick, and the quarterback's getting rid of the ball quick. Like I said, it's 3rd and 14, 9-yard gain, inconsequential because they forced a punt. Steelers would score on the ensuing possession. This beautiful touchdown pass from Mason Rudolph to, I think, Calvin Austin up at the top of the screen. Just a go route as the backside X. Austin's done a lot. Punt return, had some jet sweeps in the preseason. Certainly going to be a weapon for their offense. Steelers in the preseason have played complementary football really, really well. Of course, winning 24-0 last night to finish off the preseason leaves Steelers fans with a good feeling. All right, so next possession, 1st and 10. Herbig up top, and this is going to be a 3-yard loss. Look, there's multiple guys here. The nose tackle 95, I think, is really clogging things up in this underfront, and I will give you the end zone angle of this one just so you know. Another example, though, of Herbig winning to the inside. So he's lined up outside of the tight end initially, and watch where he goes to get to the football. It's a run play away from him. Lowering his pad level to get underneath the tight end, to reduce the surface area available to the tight end. Ends up with 2 hands on the ground, still able to pursue. Second man in there, end zone angle will give you a better idea of what I'm talking about in terms of the play made by 95, and then here's Herbig here. Ends up with both hands on the ground. As you see, 95 is already dominating, and he's got a hold of him, would probably finish the play off anyway, but Herbig gets in there. He's got a great motor. Not just a great burst, not just a great, good technique, very good technique, but a great motor as well. 3rd and 6, a few plays later, I think after a first down. Herbig on the defense's left, offense is the right, and he's going to beat the right tackle with an inside move. The same right tackle that went upfield pretty significantly on that 3rd and 14 rush that I showed you that, quote, didn't work. Sometimes I think edge rushers they're trying to win on every play, don't get me wrong, but I think there's times where they're trying to establish the outside move or establish the bull rush to set up other complementary moves. Herbig looks balanced to me. He doesn't look like a guy who can only win to the outside, only win to the inside, only win with a bull rush or a spin move. He looks like a guy who has all of the moves. I'm not saying that each and every move is an A+ move, but they all look pretty daggone good so far. 3rd and 6, forces another stop. Super impressive debut for a rookie drafted in the 4th round. Same play, all 22. He's up top. And you see the way he swats the right tackle out of there. So it's not just an inside move. He's actually using the right hand to swat the right tackle this way. Now he doesn't knock him off the screen, but he knocks him off balance enough that he's clear in terms of the B gap inside the tackle to get a sack. Like I said, he's got 3.5 sacks. Could have been 4 if it weren't for that split sack. In that first one I showed you. All right, against the Bills, less plays that I'm going to show you, but he was on the field sooner. A little blurry here, so my apologies. This is his 2nd possession. I think he's on with some starters. And he's going to beat the Bills left tackle, and there's people who I'm sure, not just Steelers fans, but all football fans are very reactionary at times, especially in the preseason when they're trying to project how good their team will be. So I'm sure there's some non-Steelers fans that'll be like, well, who's he going against? In the film that I have him going against 5 different tackles. And he's doing a good job against each one of them. I mean, all 5 of those guys aren't terrible. Do I pretend to know what each and every tackle's ceiling is or, where they're on the depth chart? No. Nick Herbig's just kicking ass against every one of them. If you're a Steelers fan and you've watched the games more closely than I have, because I really just went back and watched the defense, I've seen enough from the first-team offense to know that they're playing at a super high level, executing, and are going to be a problem. For everyone, not just the AFC North. So making contact with the left tackle, but on the inside with the right arm especially, and then uses it to shuck off of the guy. He plays through contact. He oftentimes seems to be the guy initiating the contact. Same play, end zone angle. Try to let it run a couple of times just from the rush standpoint so you can see what he's doing. And the hand placement. Left hand's actually on the right shoulder. And then just using it to rip. There's not really much of a rip there, but gets a hold of the ball or gets a tip on the ball, and it forces it incomplete. 2nd quarter, over on the other side now against a totally different guy. This is Joey Porter Jr.'s interception. He's not winning here, but in terms of getting to the quarterback, but he's getting held. There's an obvious face mask that I can't believe wasn't called. because it seems quite obvious to me. Plays with a great pad level when he does the outside rush. He's not rushing too high. The only thing that really prevents him from winning this cleaner, I'm not saying he would have got to the quarterback, but is that he's clearly the right tackle's right hand is grabbing his face mask and pulling him down. Otherwise, he probably would have cleared that, potentially been involved in disrupting the quarterback's throw. Last play I'll show you. You guys have to let me know if you're as impressed by Nate Herbig as I am. You see the stats, and then you go look at the film, and you're like, all right, the film confirms the stats. This is another sack against a different right tackle. I think I've shown you 4 different tackles that he was working against in this game. This is almost like James Houston's Skip to Malou sack last year. James Houston, the 4th from the Lions, his Skip to Malou sack last year, I think against the Jags in Week 13 or 14 of 2022. The timing of this is really cool. You can tell that he's practiced this a lot and the guts and confidence to pull it off in the game. Long step there, and then outside hand. Nice timing, even though it wasn't completely solid contact on the right tackle with the left hand, and gets a sack and a strip sack. See the left hand all the way out? I wish I could slow this down some. Just enough of a swat. He clears him. You can see he is not concerned about the tackle at all. I think he knew mid-rep that he was going to win. And the cool thing, and he reminds me of James Houston, the 4th, from the standpoint of when he's low and somewhat off balance, he's able to use his hands to redirect and continue forward. Almost, I don't want to say burst from this position, but damn near continue on his speed. Certainly he did lose some speed and explosiveness, but not that much. Not like the rest of us. Not like most people who end up having to put 1 or 2 hands on the ground. It'll really impede our forward progress, or our angular progress, I should say. And Nick Herbig just seems different. Let me know if you're a Steelers fan and you watch the video. First of all, thank you. This is a Ravens fan, but like I've tried in the preseason to keep up with all the AFC North teams, just see what's there, what people are doing, because the AFC North teams all play each other so early in the season in 2023. The Ravens play all 3 AFC North teams by the end of Week 5, I think. And Nick Herbig, to me, looks super impressive. I don't know where he is on the depth chart. Clearly, they got T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith. Like, them 2 dudes are predators off the edge. Nick Herbig looks like a guy who could get some time, at least to me so far after 3 preseason games. But there's a lot to do between the end of the 3rd preseason game for the Steelers on Thursday night and their Week 1 game against the San Francisco 49ers. Nick Herbig looks like a guy that's earned some time on the field. Whether that'll be on the left side or the right side, because the Steelers are, generally right and left with their edge rushers. Watt on the left, Highsmith on the right. Herbig looks like a guy who can play on either side. Haven't seen too much pass coverage yet in terms of dropping out, but I know when the Steelers drop their guys out, typically to the boundary. In any case, this was a fun video for me to produce. Look at an unknown guy. As a football fan in general, it's encouraging to see guys in the 4th, 5th, 6th round have success. There's always these stories in the NFL every year. Nick Herbig could be the next big one. Guys, let me know what you think of the video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so now. If you think other Steelers fans, other NFL fans in general would enjoy this content, please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.